There we go. All right, we're live. Yeah.
Where is it?
I don't have the flashing screen for this one. But what we're going to talk about in this session is how to use direct mail to market to local business owners and help them buy real estate, whether it's a property for them to live in, or maybe to invest in real estate, be it single family, apartments, whatever. This is a follow-up to a Monday marketing mastermind, which is a new segment we're doing every Monday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern, where we were talking about bank statement programs and other mortgage programs that are great opportunities for self-employed entrepreneurs and local business owners, essentially people that aren't W-2 employees, which oftentimes in most markets is a very underserved niche or audience. So I've got my guest here, Ryan Hartman, who is the co-founder of thanks.io, which is the platform we're going to use to send this direct mail. And you can get a free account. It's scrolling across the bottom there. You can get a free account with Thanks at growwithjosh.com/thanks. You can sign up for free. I would recommend that if you're going to, or once you start sending any type of volume through the platform, that you upgrade to their business account. It's cheap, but it's going to be worth it for you in the long run. When you create a free account at the link that's scrolling at the bottom, after you do that, make sure you email mike@growwithjosh.com, because we have a whole bunch of resources, some of our templates, best practices, etc., on how we use the platform. And in my real estate business, we spend, I think on the low end, probably $800 a month, to on the high end, sometimes $1,500, $2,000 a month, sending direct mail with thanks.io. So I say that to share that, like, we actually use the platform, right? Which is why I so confidently promote it and believe in it. So basically, there's two parts to this. Number one is, how do we build the audience of local business owners to send the direct mail to? And then what are we going to send them? So let's see here. I'm going to let Ryan share his screen. Yep. And so the first part is super easy, thanks to a recent upgrade that they've made to the platform. You can extremely easily build lists of a number of different niches or audiences. If you go just on the left-hand side, if you go to mailing lists, and then Ryan, it's radius search, right?
Yep, it's called radius search.
Right on. So you can do a radius search around an address, or whatever address you choose. It could be your home address, it could be your office address. Ryan, you can just use my home address, 5805 Fawn Meadow Lane. Yep,
there it is.
There it is. Yep. And then you can choose how many records you want to send a message to. And it's as little as 10, and it's as many as, I don't remember what the highest one is, but you can get crazy with it if you want.
Yeah, a whole bunch.
But, yeah. I think 100 is a good, it's a good starting point,
good
right?
Test.
Yeah, it's enough to test. It's, if you send it to 10, let's be honest, it's really, you're really not sending out enough to know whether or not it's a viable message or a viable opportunity. But 100, you should have a decent idea. And
if you send 100 and you get nothing, you probably need to change something up. If you send 100 and you get one or two,
yeah, it might need a tweak, or it might have just been that group of 100.
But 5 or more, you're really cooking.
Right. And sending out 100, if we do the 100 smallest postcards, it's going to be, about $60, right? And if you're not willing to test, for $50 to $100, I think maybe you should look at other things and take a look at what you're doing in general, right? So as you can see here, what Ryan is doing, and there's a number of different categories that they've got in here, and we should probably do a session just on that.
Yeah, you can kind of see them here, but
yeah, there's some really cool things that they're doing. Likely sellers, you can see free and clear properties, possibly underwater, new homeowners, high net worth. Look at that. Property has pool. We could do renters, right? You could send out to renters. In fact, that's a great follow up to this past Monday's marketing mastermind. We were talking about the fastest way to find motivated buyers right now. Well, frustrated renters who continually are having their rental amounts increased, that many times is a very captive and interested audience.
And we've shifted to more of a buyer's market, right? So
totally, 100%. But for our purposes here, we're going to choose only businesses, correct? Or what's the other one you're talking about?
Kind of up to you. Only businesses or new businesses. I might, just thinking about what you're trying to do here, I might go to not new businesses, because we know new business owners are struggling.
True.
There's reasons you might go for them, but an established business, that person's probably going to be implicitly, if they survived and they have a successful business after a couple of years, they're probably implicitly qualified to it's a good quality, somebody who can probably do something real estate wise. So yeah, I'll choose that. Use property owner's address. This is a special toggle for the businesses.
Okay.
So this is basically saying, do you want to send it to the business itself or send it to the property owner at their home address? In my mind, I'd probably rather just go there, knowing that a lot of people are.
I would agree 100%. Yeah. I think my guess is you are more likely to get lost in the pile if you send it to the business address versus the home address. Again, some of that will have to do with your actual marketing piece and your marketing message, but I agree 100%. Let's send it directly to their home address, where their physical address is. And
just so you know, Josh, we do have this append. We kind of use a couple of different data sources to make sure it's accurate, but we can append an email and a phone. It's a little pricey, not too bad, but it will add 20 cents a record, just because we have to pay, APIs and other services.
For 100 records, if we just want to send the direct mail to them, it's going to be $5, which is
$5,
right?
Yep.
If we want to have additional data where we could, there are other, ways where we can have email if we want to send them a similar message by email, and potentially cell phone number where you could reach out. It's still, all things considered, for 100 records, you'd be all in for $25 to have deeper data. And one thing I'll highlight is you only pay this cost once. We can send these people a direct mail piece every day or every week or every month for however long we want. We're only paying for the list one time, the initial time of what we're doing right here.
We've played a little bit with this, and we haven't staffed up for it. And a lot of modern businesses don't approach sales this way. But if you have the bandwidth and you can get the phone number and you can call somebody and ask them if they got the thing you sent them, you'd be surprised how many people say, "Yeah, I got it. It's sitting over there on my fridge," or I was going to call you guys. So there is some value in doing that follow-up if you have the time or staff.
Yeah, totally. I agree. And having something to reference back to, where it's you're not just randomly calling. It's just like you're saying, "Hey, did you get that thing I sent you the other day?"
Yep.
Great. Awesome. Cool. All right. So we're going to go ahead and get that list.
Yep. And I'll reimburse you this, Josh.
All good. No worries whatsoever.
So you'll see it kind of spin here. It usually takes a minute or two, and you'll start to see the addresses load up. Just a pro tip here. I like to just change the name here.
Yeah, totally.
To business owners near Josh's house. Just describe what it is.
Yep.
All right. And then we'll just save. And there we go. And then they all popped up right here. You can send something to the school board. Do these look like legit businesses? You probably recognize some of these since they're in your neighborhood.
Well, I mean, I recognize some of the names. I recognize some of the.
That's a real estate investor, probably.
Yeah.
So it is. We're most likely picking up LLCs that are registered with the state, just to give you some insight on how we're doing this.
Yep.
Right. So they should have an active entity.
But here's the thing. So the thing to keep in mind, because I know our audience well enough to know some people are thinking, this, that, or the other thing, or coming up with objections or reasons why not to do this. Someone is going to see this marketing message, right? And if we do a good job of crafting a compelling marketing message that on the direct mail piece that we're going to send them, even if it doesn't land in the ideal person, right? It's going to get, it will make an impression in whoever receives it. Right?
Yeah, in this case, it's going to the member this person is a part of a business entity at their home address because we chose the home address. So
yeah,
it's a pretty good, if somebody's, as you guys all know, if you've got your stuff together well enough to have an entity, you're probably financially qualified. I say that again. And there's a difference between this and sending to young renters who, might be living paycheck to paycheck. Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
All right. So that's kind of the easy part of the equation, quite honestly, right? Because Thanks has made it easy to pull those records and very cheap to do so as well. Now, the more important part is crafting a compelling enough marketing message that will actually create opportunities for you.
So can I pull up you probably have some ideas, but can I just really quickly, for my sake, there's probably 3 or 4 main campaigns you would send to business owners, right?
Yeah, let's do it.
You've done some stuff, but I'll make this big. I mean, off the top of my head, it's need a new location.
Yeah.
Looking to add to your portfolio.
Yep.
It could just be ignore the fact that they are a business owner and just ask if they need help with their own personal stuff. You're using the targeted list to make a non-business associated, right?
Yep.
Or time to sell. And then you had some other ideas, I guess, around financing, maybe, or
well, yeah. So I mean, what prompted this session was a marketing mastermind we had around mortgage programs that are specifically designed for self-employed entrepreneurs and business owners. And in other words, bank statement programs, even on an investment side, DSCR, debt service coverage ratio, programs that people can qualify for if they're not a W-2 employee, right? And so that could be
let's do this.
Gig economy kind of things. But yeah, I think, if we could brainstorm around that, I think that would be, a good place to start for sure.
And do you have kind of like an asset, like a video or a recorded message or something that they can access as a response? Or do you want them to just call you?
Well, I mean, so I was thinking about this earlier and I should have prepped a little bit better. I was thinking I can have the QR code go to our application link. But in a perfect world, I think some sort of bridge to that would make a ton of sense, right? Where it be a short video message, and you kind of talk about like, hey, if you're a local business owner or self-employed entrepreneur and you're looking for some unique financing options that you would qualify for, blah blah blah, something like that. I don't have that built yet, but I think that would make sense to do in this scenario. Have some sort of bridge, and it wouldn't have to be a video, but I think a video would be obviously valuable. But just something making the case that is congruent to whatever's being stated on the postcard as well.
Yeah. So, scan the QR code to learn about these programs now, and then it goes to your thing. So as I've constructed these campaigns, a lot of times when you're doing a Facebook ad or a Google ad, you need to have those assets built right away. Right. What I like about mail is that I'll even put the URL that they're going to go to. It doesn't exist yet. And I know I got about 5-6 days to get on my horse. Now I have sometimes forgot to go build that.
Yeah.
So,
but the nice thing with, and I say this all the time when I'm talking about thanks.io, but this is probably my favorite functionality with thanks.io, is that when you send a postcard or whatever mail type, that includes a QR code. When the recipient scans the QR code, you are emailed in real time and notified of the fact that someone just scanned your QR code. So specifically, exactly what that means is if I send Ryan a postcard and Ryan scans that postcard, I get an email saying Ryan Hartman at this address just scanned the QR code on this postcard. You emailed him. So even if this is not ideal, but even if they scan and the URL doesn't exist yet or something is messed up, at least I now know I can follow up with Ryan and I can say, hey, Ryan, it looks like you got the postcard we sent you the other day. Is that something you're interested in? Or were you able to check out the link from the QR code? And so all they have, I mean, I just can't speak highly enough about how critical that is. And I'll give folks in real estate a specific example of how we use that. We use thanks.io for just listed and just sold postcards, which, by the way, you can find. We've got videos like this one that I've done with Ryan and even by myself. They're on the YouTube channel, or you can email mike@growwithjosh.com. He can send you those. And when people scan those we add them to our database. We'll send them a home valuation digitally, and we'll actually send them direct mail follow-up with a report about their property. So, I can't speak highly enough about that functionality. Like, it is a game changer, and it means you can, I think your opportunity to have ROI from direct mail is greatly enhanced by that functionality.
Yeah.
As long as you use it, right? You actually you invest the time and energy to follow up with the folks that do scan the QR codes. So anyway, Ryan is now into brainstorm mode here, which I love. So you're using the dynamic image builder for the front of the card, right? And that's so we can have a QR code on both the front of the postcard and on the back of the postcard.
Yeah. So what I did was I went to image templates, I went to dynamic templates, and went to image builder right here.
Yep.
And I just started while you were chatting. I just started.
Oh, is that a new one down there, the bottom right?
We added 4 more that you probably will appreciate because they don't have a lot of design. They're more bare bones, which I asked for. So we have the one I'm using is this plain white one. And
I haven't even seen that yet. This is
you've
awesome.
Got your ugly yellow there too.
Which I love that.
So let's just, do you have a URL, like a website where you put this kind of stuff, or you can go change this later if you want.
If you go to send it to joshvips.com, joshvips.com /
self-employed or something, or
that way, and I'll make a note to myself. I have to build that redirect, but if nothing else, for now they'll go somewhere. They won't end up nowhere. But and what I'll end up doing is making a video with an opt-in of some kind.
And do you have like a logo? Should I put this picture of you and Pam there, or do you want a logo on the card?
I've got a goofier one that's in some of the other pictures. I'm trying to think of the here.
Let's see if I can find one.
Yeah, there's one. Is it in those?
Well, we're not going to send this now, Josh. I'll just move us along. I'll just take this
more the brainstorming session. Yep.
Yeah. So I'll just grab this. I just want to show people what you can do. So here, I'll just throw a screenshot picture of you on there, and then I'm going to click generate preview, and you're going to see the image render here. I should have given this a name. Self-employed mortgage. So I've been liking this blank template. You can see some other ones with designs on it.
Yeah.
But you see how it says first name, might be a little small, but you can merge in attributes about the person into the copy here as well.
Yep.
So hey, Josh, scan the QR code to learn more. And then what I've been doing with this template is actually putting an image here with an arrow pointing at the scan.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
So maybe you'll do a picture of yourself pointing or something, Josh, and you can load that in there.
Yeah.
And this is the front side of the card, and it's got the QR, and then I can just save this. And this I like this dynamic builder. I see you've been using it too, because you don't have to mess around with designing anything.
Right. Totally.
You might need an image to like plug in there, and you might spend 2 minutes messing with that. But
with the dynamic builder, you can personalize the front of the card, and you can have the QR code. And so like the traditional, I don't know how long I can't remember how long the dynamic builder has been live in Thanks, but prior to that, you couldn't do that on the front, on the main side of the card.
Yeah.
And so it's a huge upgrade in my estimation. I mean, I just think that makes it
Yeah.
So much more valuable.
And I'll mention, since we have a real estate audience, that you can insert the map view or the street view of the property here.
Right.
As well.
So for example, we use that functionality when sending direct mail to, for example, expireds or geographic farming, right? You could send out and say, when you put their property, whether it's the map view or the street view, when you put their property on a card, I mean, talk about a pattern interrupt, right? That all you're trying to do is get them to stop long enough to look at the message on the card. And that's why we're seeing in some cases 5, 7, 10, 12% of people scanning the cards that we're sending them, because it's clearly not just some big company sending a bunch of junk mail, right? It seems more personalized.
Yep. So that's that. For some reason, it's not putting that. Let me upload that image again. I think I confused the system by moving too fast as usual. But you guys get the point. So you design the front side, right?
Yep.
I like these.
Sorry.
What's that?
Well, for this, I like the fact that you're going very, very direct, right? Self-employed. We could even say self-employed ? Own a business ? Need a mortgage? Whatever.
Yep.
But you're very direct, and we know that special financing programs, that language. And it's probably more so than anything, the word special, it gets people's attention and gets response. And when you throw in bank statement only and DSCR, that also creates some curiosity, right? Yep. Most people won't have any idea what DSCR is, but that opens up a loop in their brain and they want to know the answer, right? And so what I will do is the video I create that they will see when they scan, I'll explain what that means. That way it kind of closes the loop. It also positions me as an expert, right? Because I'm taking something that sounds, confusing or insider knowledge, and I'm making that, I'm clearing that up for them. So I love the way you've crafted that messaging.
And I'm trying to personalize it more here. Is it Dauphin County?
Well, see, I don't know. I'm so close that it might be pulling Dauphin and Cumberland.
So I'll just say Central PA.
Yeah, Central PA would be great. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, but the more you can put at things about that person and what they're about there, that plays to your pattern interrupt idea there.
Which, by the way, I mean, that is so relevant and important in any marketing medium and message, right? So obviously we're talking about direct mail right now, but that's important. The more congruent you can make your message to the audience that you're putting in front of, the higher the response rate you're going to get, whether it's with Facebook ads or on Instagram or with YouTube ads or in your follow-up messaging, whatever. The more you can make it, congruent to the audience that you're talking to, the better response you're going to get. Yep.
So that's the image side. You'd be done with that in 2 minutes if you want to.
Totally.
Right. Yep. So you're like 2 minutes for the message template. I mean, for the mailing list, you're a couple of minutes for the image template, and now we're going to build out the actual other side message.
Yep.
So we go to message
back
template.
Side of the postcard where it's the address of who it's being delivered to, the return mail address, and so forth.
So you want to belt this one out and read it to me?
Sure. Hi, Josh. Or hi first name. VIPS, but we're not sending it anyway. It doesn't matter.
Okay, I'll fix it.
Hi first name. How can we? Let me think here. So, did you know there are several special financing programs available right now for self-employed entrepreneurs and local business owners? ?
Yep.
If you'd like more information about programs available, parentheses, including bank statement only, DSCR, etc. Scan the QR code to the right, or call/text me at 717-510-1452. And that literally, like, we didn't plan this at all, right? So that could certainly be made better, but that's just off the top of my head. You know, again, just general marketing principles. When you ask a question, that is a very powerful way of positioning yourself, right? Because that creates curiosity. And then we're talking about, like, basically we're saying if you have bank statements, you may qualify, right?
Yeah.
And then we're using that the DSCR again as a curiosity play, and then we're including several ways for them to get more information. They can scan the QR code or call or text at that. And it's a small percentage of people that will call or text, but those that do are super, they're much more motivated.
Yeah.
And all you're trying to do is make it as easy as possible for them to respond in the way that they choose to respond.
And I'm just playing with the fonts here, just to remind everybody that you can do that.
Totally. So you have, what is it, 14 different handwritten style fonts?
Yep. Something like that.
And a lot of times we end up just going with the normal print in a lot of the cases.
Yep.
And that, that seems to work perfectly fine as well. And there's some things you can do customization wise, where you can, if you see that sort of blank space between the text and the QR code, you can put in, like, I've got a goofy little thing where I've got an arrow pointing to scan, and I have the phone number again in that. And it's just a way to create some personal connection.
That's this custom message background.
Right? Oh, okay. Yep.
Yeah, but that's what you're referring to,
right? So totally. And
if you want to personalize it more,
right? We've got a template for how you can create those in Canva. If you use the link below and create a free account at growwithjosh.com/thanks, we can send you that template, or we can even help you build one to do the custom background. We're happy to do either of those.
Yeah, but that's, this is a pretty sound campaign that I'd feel pretty safe sending once you set it up. So you got a targeted list, right?
Yep.
Target audience. You've got something that is a pain point for most entrepreneurs. The banks hate us.
Yep. Yep.
For some reason.
Yep.
And you're offering some help with that pain point. So if you send this to 100 people, it stands to reason, they're going to receive it at their home address. You should be able to get a handful of them to reply.
Now, moving forward, so a couple of things. Number one, I want to point out that you can see there that you can add an email. So if you have an admin, and you want them to be notified when someone scans the QR code and have them have a follow-up action plan, you can do that right there, which is really, really cool. And I wanted to make sure I highlighted that. But let's talk this forward. Instead of just trying to be a one-hit wonder with this audience, if I wanted to build out an entire campaign and I wanted it to have multiple touches, we could have this one, which is kind of a direct catch-all, and then we could send one specifically about bank statement only.
Yep.
We could send one specifically about DSCR. The mortgage company that I'm affiliated with, we've got commercial financing options. So you could make one about, do you need funding to buy equipment or to X, Y, or Z, right? So you can make it about funding. You could send one specifically around investing in real estate, right? I mean, it's kind of like the DSCR angle, but slightly different. So
if you can send tips, Josh, just directly, and you could do a whole series like self-employed mortgage tip number 1, send it this month, so that could be your headline, actually.
Yep.
And then your persistent call to action would always be the same thing.
Yep.
To go to the video, but just like you would do with email. And you can build out a drip as you're saying here, using our campaign functionality.
You and I have always been proponents of niche marketing, right? The riches are in the niches.
What's your niche?
Yeah.
Beach.
And this is a great example of, how you can own a niche in your market by being someone who is, trying to be of value and service to business owners in your market. And there are so many great opportunities that can come from that. And if you do a good job of leading with value and a service first sort of approach, and even just educating them, just the fact that you're making them aware that these things exist for them, you're being of value to them. You're presenting something to them that they may not be aware of, or didn't know was available now, in the current market conditions. So I love this idea. I think there's a massive opportunity to own this niche in your market. And what's the math there? What do you have?
Yeah. So if you were to do just our 4x6 postcards at thanks, and includes postage, but you did do a tip every month for a year, I would say that you're probably top of mind as the guy who does self-employed business mortgages by the end of that year. If they see 12 postcards from you, it would cost you $5.48.
So per person. So if you did it to the 100
person.
people, you're talking about $550. Let's call it $600 when you buy the list, whatever.
Yeah.
And if you're going to do that, you might as well append the data. So you
Right.
do have that additional information, so that when they scan the QR code, you already have phone number and email, so you can follow up with them as well. So for $600, $600 per 100, $600 per 100, you can make a pretty compelling argument. And
you need a 1%. If you get one deal this year from that effort,
one deal is at least a 10-to-1 return.
Yeah.
And now you've got somebody, a business owner, who they've got friends and family. They may own they may already own their own. I mean, who knows? It's a great potential niche, but it's not something that you should expect to send one postcard to and have it be a huge win. Could you get a client from one postcard send? Absolutely, you could. But if you play the long game, you're drastically increasing the odds of getting a significant positive ROI.
Yep. And I want to mention one other idea that you can put in a campaign. That the tips idea is great, but we're seeing success with straight up bribes around the gift cards.
Yep.
So you might not lead with this, but once you've primed the audience and they've gotten 2 or 3 pieces from you, you might follow up with a, hey, if you're willing to meet with me. So let me go down to the note cards here. If you're willing to have coffee with me, I'll buy you lunch or something. If you're willing to meet on Zoom with me. So,
yep.
Mind if I'll just show this. Oops.
Sure.
Oops.
So what Brian's referring to is they have built-in functionality where you can send someone a gift card via direct mail. And if you're using the business account, you're not just blowing money. Let's say you're only spending the money if it's used.
And they have to take an action before they can get the gift card. So,
right. And if they're using it, you're burning in there, right? When they use that, they're thinking of you, right?
Yeah.
Like you're making a different level connection with the person that actually uses that, for sure.
Yeah. So schedule a 15-minute self-employed mortgage consult with me. That would be the message I would put here.
Yep.
And as a thank you for scheduling, I'll instantly give you a Chipotle gift card.
Yep.
But you would have to. We don't need to get into the technical nitty-gritty here, but they would have to go to your Calendly link or something here,
right? And
then you would set the return to our URL, and then it would give them the gift card after they schedule.
So, yep.
So
very cool. Very cool.
Yep. But this is the kind of audience that hey, I want to respect your time. I know you're a busy business owner, so here's
yeah. So a few things in wrapping up here. Number one, get your free account at growwithjosh.com/thanks. Make sure you email Mike at growwithjosh.com for bonuses. We have an entire training portal built around thanks.io. And be sure to check out every Monday at 11 a.m. Eastern, we do a Monday marketing mastermind. And at the time of this live session, this coming Monday, we're going to be exploring going after expired listings and utilizing thanks.io, but doing so in a way that is going to be different than what most of your competitors are doing. And I'm really excited to share that and how we can use thanks.io to really cut, to really start a different conversation with expireds. And that's really what you've got to do. You've got to, if you want to win the expired game, you've got to be doing something different than what everyone else in your market is being taught by, you know, these old school coaches and so forth.
Isn't it exciting that the world is burning and we get to do this stuff again? there's expireds. Like that's a thing now.
100%. So on our coaching huddle today, one of my members shared that there were more expireds that hit today. Now, at the time of this live, it's December 1st. So that's, you know, at first of the month, there's a lot of expireds, but more expireds that hit today than the last 6 months combined in his market. So there's definitely opportunity if you can be of value and service and be a creative problem solver. So really good stuff, Ryan. Thanks so much for hopping on with us here. If you need any help, please don't hesitate to ask. Check out additional resources above or below this video in the description. Get a free account, check it out, try it out. And at minimum, get a free account and send yourself a postcard, right? To see what it looks like and how it works and all of that fun stuff.
Yeah, so, Josh, I should mention that we do have our real estate campaign. I know you and Mike help with stuff too, but our team's pretty full service. So when you go in there, you'll see a real estate concierge link. If you don't see that, just ask our team for the link and you can request some setup on this.
Right on. Right on. Yep. We want to help you all succeed. Appreciate you, Ryan. And hopefully we'll talk again soon.
Yep. See you.